add temporary lighting and signs of like watch for, if you can see, I feel like it's harder for people to get into some foolishness if they.
Welcome back, Real Talk Real Estate. My name is Scott Warner. I work with the Capstone team, brokered by EXP. To my left is a man that needs no introduction because all the ladies love him.
Which is why I'm introducing myself right now. Donovan Johnson, Coldwell Banker, Eagle Safari. And I love my job, and it's really good to be able to come do this and just be a part of something bigger than myself. So glad to be back, guys. Hopefully we can bless y'all with another episode.
So today we're talking about social credit of the neighborhood. Or, you know, like I live in Graywood, but where I live, I actually call it Gray Hood. So if you live in Graywood, the social network is up here. Where I live in Gray Hood is down here. Not a score, not politics, nothing weird.
Right. It's just about the reputation and vibe, behavior of the neighborhood, because it goes a long way with the house.
I mean, homes are not a vacuum. They're not there just by themselves. You actually have to say, hey, look, I have to add this part of the neighborhood in there.
Yeah, you're not just buying the address, you're buying the whole street along with the address.
Yeah, today we're breaking down how neighborhoods could give you better value or hurt your value. And
I mean, we're in the 337, and there's different cities within our MLS, so there's a lot. And each city has its own vibe, and there's also like sub vibes, how there's like subculture within like one big culture, and it's just important to get a feel for all that.
No, you can definitely have pride, a sense of pride, ownership, friendliness, but you can also have tension, neglecting, chaos.
Right. And as a realtors, I feel like we know kind of the vibe of a lot of areas, but it's something about bringing a client somewhere and you start imagining them in it. And then I'll start reading body language, but there's an instant reactions, whether they say there isn't or not.
No, your neighborhood can influence your home's value more than upgrades. I mean, seriously, if you live in this sketch neighborhood, but you put a $1 million house, guess what? That $1 million house ain't going to be $1 million house no more.
No. Dude, that's the truth. And certain things can be unpredictable. And if your street feels neglected, people will immediately start to hesitate.
Yeah, I mean, we have signs of high-value neighborhood culture. What I mean is a strong neighborhood culture looks like people wave, acknowledge you, be like, hey, how you doing? You're the best. Kids outside playing, constant yard care. Once again, I think a few weeks ago we talked about HOA, that a homeowners association, that constant yard care pours into that. Pride in your home's appearance, good lighting. You don't want any sketch lighting. Seasonal decorations. Like if you go through Graywood right now, you got a lot of 14-foot Santas in there. Clean streets. These are all things that can contribute to the neighborhood. Look, if the house that you're selling is in a good neighborhood, it's ready to be sold. It's ready to be there.
Absolutely. And the biggest thing we want y'all to take from this episode is how important social credit goes with the buying process, because it affects days on market 100%. You can easily draw like a circle around a certain area of a map in a neighborhood, and you should be able to get a pretty clear idea of, okay, if the house is upgraded and up to par of the neighborhood, it should only take this amount of time to sell. Another thing is just safety, because if you ain't feeling safe, how you going to park all your money into your biggest investment? So there's just multiple factors that goes into building that social credit up.
I mean, I think there are also a list of red flags that you might want to be looking for. I mean, what do you think, Don?
I tell you one thing, That may sound a little clumsy, but loud arguments, like if you're outside and people are beefed out, meaning just going at it,
they're tweaking.
If they're tweaking, you are talking like a young kid this today.
Yeah.
How's that work?
Not
How do you keep it PG? Because that's my problem.
Look, talking about this right now, it's probably about to just go down real quick.
Oh, man. So cars in the yard is another thing. If it's junky, I think there's a difference between having an extra car or two, big family. But if it looks all broken down and the grass is growing around it, looks like nobody's paying attention, not a good sign. Along with the yard being cluttered, just if there's trash everywhere.
Yeah.
Imagine you in the neighborhood and you see, like, you can tell the trash is from another neighbor, but it's just like halfway down the street.
I mean, can you imagine looking at a piece of land and being like, I want to build in this piece of land, but you look around and you're like just seeing trash everywhere. It will deter people from building there. I mean, you might not see it maybe in the residential sector, hopefully not, but commercial. Like, hey, I want to put my business here, but if it's trashy, I'm not gonna invest in my business here. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, we're good. And another thing, for the most part, unless you're like in a senior community or something older, I feel like not seeing kids outside. Scott talked about the good thing of seeing kids. I think it's a positive too. But when you don't see kids outside, is it because they need to stay inside for safety, or is it because the neighborhood's just older? I would just be questioning why.
Yeah, it's not always a bad thing. It's not the red flag might not be like, oh my gosh, it's a bad neighborhood, but oh my gosh, will my family work here?
It's a pause moment, basically.
Yeah.
It makes you want to consider, especially if you're their agent, like, I've already thought about that too, guys. Like, boom.
Yeah.
I'm going to say one thing that I think's the biggest one on this list for me, and it's Facebook drama, like Facebook neighborhood group drama.
Yeah.
I feel like once you get pretty serious into the buying process, I feel it's important to go talk to somebody and be like, is there somebody always stirring up stuff? Because people obviously are keyboard warriors until it's time to face to face.
I mean, that's the thing. You're 100% correct. Like, if you buy something in this neighborhood and then you're in the drama just because you bought something, I didn't want to be here. Now I'm locked in because I have a house here. I mean, a big thing that real estate agents should do before they start bringing you on these searches for homes is drive the neighborhood. I mean, sometimes you have to drive it in the morning, the afternoon, and the evening to go ahead and see. Now, do we have to do that for every house? No, but if it's an unknown area, like in Graywood, I know what Graywood's going to look like. Our university, I know what university is going to look like. But okay, you talked about multiple cities within Lake Charles. Westlake, I don't know. I don't really know what Westlake is going to look like. I mean, I'm not worried about Westlake. I know it's safe. I'm not worried that we're not talking safety, but I don't know the vibes of it. Mm-hmm. So if I'm trying to put my client there, I better do my research ahead of time and do those drive-bys.
Right. And let me just break down some of the drive-bys. In the morning shows good workflow. So you have to anticipate, like, is there school zones around too as well? Yeah. Just like stuff like that to be like, okay, the morning drive on the GPS may say 15 minutes, but we may be at 23 to 25 minutes based on how busy something is. If you live in Westlake, I feel like you almost have to always account for the train that's going to be running through there. If you do a showing in the afternoon, it could show family dynamics. And if people are hustling and bustling, if they're still going to be going with activities. And then the evening, which is my favorite time to ride around, is just for safety, noise level, and just overall life. And
you're 100% right. If they all three feel good, I mean, that should be a good neighborhood that you want to put yourself in. It's a solid area. That's the thing. We're not just talking about safety. We're talking about, does it fit the clientele?
The flow.
Does it
life.
fit you?
Yeah.
I mean, because you could be, if you're 55, do you want to be in an area with a lot of kids running around? Probably not. You probably want to go towards an older neighborhood, which represents you. Mm-hmm. I mean, what sellers can do to boost neighborhood appeal? What are some things?
I think the biggest thing, and you drive around University and you'll see like the Yard of the Month awards and stuff like that. And usually people with HOAs have it too, but I know in university if there is any HOAs, I don't know about them because most of the streets is open. But I think that's a big motivating factor, and you want to be a part of something clean and crisp. Like, imagine if the Zillow pictures match the actual vibe, which is so hard to say. Another thing is lighting's important, and I've seen people add temporary lighting and signs of like watch for kids or like slow down, but lighting's a big thing because if you can see, I feel like it's harder for people to get into some foolishness if they want.
Yeah, I mean, dark corners. Yeah, it's like, look, my house in Graywood, I have security lighting around it. Why? It's not just because I don't feel safe there. It's because I like to see. I usually have the most lit up house in the neighborhood. Once again, it's not because of safety. It's just because I like to have that. That is my preference, and that's something that
I think even if your house isn't for sale, Scott, that's a curb appeal thing too.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Because when people drive around saying, hey, do I want to purchase in their neighborhood? They see a person with all their lights on. They might be like, man, I like it because guess what? Their appearance is what I want to look like. You're not just selling the home. Once again, you're selling the neighborhood. If you're in a neighborhood, now look, we're not talking about the people that have 90 acres out in the middle of Moss Bluff. Guess what? You got a neighborhood of your own. We're talking about those city limit people that, you're selling the neighborhood with the home.
And as realtors, like, it'd be awesome if we only dealt with the numbers of things and crunching stuff, but you don't. There's a whole other side of us being the therapist and just the confident. Is it confident? Not confidential informant. What am I trying to say? Confidant. Thank you. So you're dealing with so much stuff that's emotional, but this is where you can really press down on the facts and the logic and understand that it's strategic when you're picking a neighborhood.
Sellers. I mean, the thing is, your home's value is tied to the street that you live on. That is just something to remember. That is why agents pull comps of not just like houses, but like neighborhoods.
And something Scott said earlier that was a good point is that for the most part, and this is for investors and somebody buying a home, you usually don't want to buy the nicest house on the block. Mm-hmm. Maybe if you're planning on staying there forever, but anytime somebody says forever home, I guarantee you they're going to buy a new home within the next 4 years. So I say all that to say, just because the house may be pretty, the neighborhood may not fully suit you and your family and who you are. So you fall into the trap and you wind up getting stuck with a note you don't like and you start resenting everything. Whether if you just took a step back and looked at the bigger picture, you may have been able to swallow your whatever pride or whatever you want to call it and just say, you know what, maybe this ain't for me.
Look, ask your agents to walk the street with you, to feel the vibe with you, to understand the neighborhood that you're buying into. I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing. Instruct your agent on what you want, and hopefully they do it.
I think that's towards the end of the episode. Oh, my one thing, can I say?
Go ahead, hit me.
Another thing with neighborhoods, and we talked a little bit about it, but like HOAs, it's important to know who has it and who doesn't, because I have a client right now that's a mechanic. So they wanted a house that was DSLD, but I was telling them that even with the shop that he has in the back, that it may not be the best fit for him because the HOA is probably going to be on him if there's ever cars in the driveway, street. So we steered away from that, and he's like, man, I really wanted that house, but looking back at it, I'd have hated myself because I wouldn't have been able to do me. So you got to look at occupations and if you're going to be able to do what you need to do.
Man, that hit hard. Hey, that was a great closing statement. Hey, next time we're going to be talking about some more real estate things. Real Talk Real Estate. Thank you for being here with us. All love at the bottom.
Game point.